given 3 reasons. The first one is funds not requested, which I don't know what it means. Maybe you can clarify. Then there is a request rejected by the control of budget, and there's a final reason there, which says tax issue. So maybe some clarity on those 3 reasons, because as Onyonka said, some of these things are technical, and most of us might not understand what those mean. So maybe you can explain those 3 circumstances for voiding. Funds not requested means.
Okay, Chair, Governor, let me ask Chacha.
Chair, if I may start with the auditor issue on reasons that may make the control of budget withdraw or not approve a request. There are quite a number, Chair. One of them is if there is the request you put before the controller has not sufficient support document, or there are quite a reports that we also print from the IB. If those reports communicate, there is one item missing in that request, or there is an item in the request whose tax obligations have not been captured. Chair, in considering that, at that time we had presented that request, we were almost closing a financial year. So when we raised those issues, we could not be able to respond. That's why we dropped that request. However,
Governor, I think there is no need to go into too many stories. When I see a column says the reason for reversal is funds not requested, what does that mean? So, Chair, the Auditor General brings up an interesting point, because, Governor, the interest is to keep your suppliers happy, maybe after the voiding of these transactions. If you look at some of these amounts here, it's not a lot of money. It's 12,000, 18,000 due to a supplier. You will find that these are the regular hustlers of Kisii, I would assume. And the bulk of those 600 transactions are actually figures that are below 50,000, 100,000 Kenya shillings. So I think what the auditor is saying, that beyond this discussion of documentation, luckily the governor knows that I am also an accounting officer. And during our audit at the party headquarters, we have these conversations with the Auditor General, and when they raise questions, you explain those questions. Governor, your team might be letting you down. Those exit meetings that the chair is talking about, when an auditor raises a query, you will see my finance officer, Kawino, will provide those documents immediately, and the question goes away. So the greater question, according to the Auditor General, is yes, these guys are suppliers for the county. They did the job. What is the current situation now? After these contracts or these payments were voided, were they finally paid? Or this is now part of the Kisii pending bills?
That's the question I would ask my people. Were they finally paid? Chacha.
Yeah, because this is tea and mandazi money. 17,000, 12,000, 10,000. Those are hustlers.
Chair, a payment is only possible when it has an approval of the controller. These payments were
Chacha.
They were not paid, Chair.
Up to today, they have not been paid. That's the answer we are looking for, please. Let us not complicate matters. So what is the reason? What usually follows, like after my payment has been voided as a supplier, what usually happens? What sort of like process follows? What happens?
You're stuck.
Chacha.
It is rebudgeted, Chair.
So it has been rebudgeted?
Correct, Chair.
So if we look at your current budget, we will see provision for this payment. You have your budget here? It's not here. So how do we know that you have budgeted for this money, Chacha?
Yeah, it's not part of our annex just in our today's discussion, but we are ready to provide it.
What guarantees can now these suppliers, these small suppliers, what guarantees are there that after the money is budgeted for, it goes all the way to IB again? What guarantee is there that you will not void these payments this financial year again?
Chair, probably when the auditor will be, as you will be directing, will be revising those voided, you will be able to pick those ones that we've already budgeted and maybe those we've already paid the current financial year.
The question was, what guarantee can you give these suppliers that this time around their payments will not be voided? That you will take it all the way to IB and request for the funds from the control of budget? What guarantee can you give them?
Chair, we can all give an undertaking that we'll pay them.
You can't, or you can?
We can only give a guarantee that the payments will be made to them.
But even in voiding, it's not necessary for the people. Senator Sifuna was asking, it's not necessarily. These are among the allowances again. I've seen so many because I've gone through this thing, if you look at it keenly. And if you check even Commission of Tax, a number of them there which have been avoided. But as you put it, let us have that communication as it was requested from the OAG. And Chair, instead of us going round, let him provide that evidence that yes, this so much 200 and something was approved, you did not pay, you voided. Therefore, we'll be able to ask these people, why did you void these transactions?
Yeah, because we are.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that case, then the assumption will be, then the 202 million is seated safe.
Still there? Yes, it must be.
No, but Chacha said the rebudget.
Being
said
budgeted, Chair, it's there. As long as it has not been paid to any ghost individuals outside there.
No. Governor, the disclaimer that the chair gave you there is a very important disclaimer. Just speak about Kisii and what happens, because in our other counties, we have seen that the intention of your staff is just to obtain that approval by the control of budget. And once that money hits the account of Kisii County, they void the list they used to get the approval and now pay the people that they want. We have seen, I've not seen it in Kisii, but I've seen it here in Nairobi, where now there is a preferred list of the people who have spoken well, quote unquote, to the staff in the office. People are on commissions, percentages, and those are the people who are paid. Wale vichwa ngumu, those ones who don't want to play the game, those are the transactions that are voided. So when we go through this list, Governor, I'm happy you have said that some of the people here are not necessarily hustlers. But if you look at those amounts, they're an average of below 100,000 Kenya shillings. And that is why we want to have that conversation. And I think the chair has given the way forward. Okay. So if you can guarantee us that no approval came from the COP, no money came to the CRF, that's 232, and that if it came, it is still there, nobody else was paid using that list, then you should be clear. That is the only reason why you would clear the committee's concerns.
Correct. Senator Marum?
Yeah, Chair, it is possible, from my experience, that you can requisition for money, you get the money to a CRF account, and pay different people. And that's one of the reasons why we have increase in pending bills, because then when you want to pay somebody and you pay a different person, then that payment that was intended then becomes a pending bill. But to the control of budget, there's something that you're saying, that once you allow money to be paid to the CRF of a county, then you have no authority to get the data or the statements from Central Bank of Kenya. What type of authority do you require? So much so that when you allow that payment to take place, then you need to follow up from the counties to ensure that the 100 million that was allowed is paid to the intended people. What type of authority do you require? And from who?
Yeah, I think that's where we now need a solution.
So that now it's more easier. Next time when you're doing a requisition, you are told so many people that you had done requisition, you did not pay. You paid your own things. We're not going to do what? To approve the next payment until you explain why did you pay wrong people. Scissors like that. It's only that the system could have.
So who's, you know, we are not here just to count the pennies. We are also here to come up with policy and legislative recommendations. There is a problem in other counties. You're saying it's not a problem in Kisii, but it's a problem in other counties. What Senator Maruma has described. The control of budget is seeking the help of the Senate. The Treasury is saying they've not been requested. The governor is saying there is no problem, it can be done. So what is the solution? I thought we had a problem, but everyone is saying that there is no problem. But I know for a fact that when the controller wrote to counties requesting for that visibility, the Council of Governors wrote back a very nasty letter.
That is what I wanted to remind the chair, that the Council of Governors was very categorical, that now the control of budget wants to micromanage counties. But here, I think, Chair, the solution is on our side. Together with the control of budget, we should agree on whatever rules or legislation that needs to be changed to give that visibility to the COB. Because that would strike a very serious blow for devolution, and especially for suppliers who, for whatever reasons, decide to do business in a scrupulous manner, and ensure that there is no loss of public funds. So that one, I think, has to be left to us. Because if you leave it to the goodwill of Simba, even though he's a good man, it might not happen. It might not happen. Let us just tie the hands. The legislative process in this country is just about tying people's hands. Because for as long as there's any wiggle room, they will wiggle. Yeah, they will wiggle.
Okay, finally, Senator Onyonka, yes. And then I can see Chacha in Parliament, you don't raise your hand. We are not in a class. So I will maybe find out what he wants to hear. I have had very interesting, what he wants to say, because I've had interesting conversations where an officer insists on speaking and accuses the boss of a lot of things.
So, Chair, I want to help the governor of Kisii. If there are saboteurs in your administration, you allow us to deal with them. Don't protect anybody. Because unfortunately for you, you also hold a very high office in a political party. He's essentially my boss, Chair. And when such accusations are made against a governor from my party, I have a lot of difficulty explaining myself in the public. So I will not allow it to happen, Governor. As I told you, I'm also an accounting officer. I am audited. We go through this process. Luckily for me, I have a fantastic team at the party headquarters, led by Joshua Kawino, somebody who you know very well. There is no way, Governor, Kawino can be asked to provide a voucher, and he doesn't provide it, and it ends up as an audit query. That is why, for the past 15 years, ODM has had a clean audit. I've never had to appear before a committee of parliament to be grilled the way that you're being grilled. The law is very clear that failure to provide a document at the point of audit is actually an offense. So allow us to identify these characters who are sabotaging your administration. Because this is something that, as the chair has rightfully noted, can very easily be used to mudsling a county governor, where there is no wrongdoing, no money has been lost, just somebody failing to provide a voucher when they should provide a voucher. So this one is unacceptable, Governor. It's unacceptable, and Chair, for me, we identify the officers responsible for production of documents. I think you will remind us, clerk, what the law says, the responsibility to produce documents during audit. That officer, Governor, even if he's your friend, deliver him to our hands. You just wash your hands and let the Senate do with him as it will please. Because we cannot allow this to continue, and we shouldn't be sitting here to look at vouchers. You are not like Isiolo. And I can see the Senator of Isiolo has walked in. we are not like Isiolo, because the documents you present here, they look like authentic documents. You should just have provided them during the time of audit.
Chair, you know,
Senator Gata.
my good friend, Governor, confirmed there are some people who are trying to sabotage him. Actually, that was his assertion the very moment that he started talking. Maybe he could tell us more. Yeah, maybe these people are just feeling himself. Maybe they are, you know, he just confirmed himself. Maybe they are, because it is not logical that auditors are here. You can't produce a voucher. The CC, I mean, zero finance is there, CC finance is there. Then until when you come before the commissioners when the vouchers are there, and you know these are records. Yeah, Governor, could you
Can you name them?
You name and assume.
Chair, I will take the ball, the individuals who are supposed to play. Allow me, because out of this, and I am happy that we are discussing about this discussion, and it's good that I've brought before you. And I've tried to bring these people before the Senate, including my CEC and the other staff that they are supporting me, to answer these questions. But for sure, Chair, you'll hear a lot of noise. There will be a lot of cries. Because most of them, there will be a process of dismissal from service. There are people who have refused actually to move with me. Therefore, the only thing is that we'll have to follow due process to ask them and work elsewhere, either in their homes, all other opportunities they will be able to get outside there. Therefore, Chair, the only promise is that even in the next meeting, I will have come up with individuals and their role. Because as you have put it, we cannot be discussing of 6 million. Forget about 6. You will see there is many other things. When I was going through the report, I'm like, really? This kind of thing is what you want us to go to the Senate to answer? These things could have been done at the county level. Therefore, Chair, I'm happy that you have asked. I'll give those up to us.